everyone. A very warm welcome to Employee Center Academy sessions. It's so heartwarming to see everyone dialing in from all across the globe just for this session. It's super amazing. Thank you all for joining. This session is part of our live on ServiceNow series umbrella series events of umbrella, and we are in the July 2025 session of Employee Center Academy. For those of you who are meeting me for the first time, I'm Smriti Gupta, Senior Outbound Product Manager for Unified Employee Experience team. And this is the team that manages Employee Center Pro, and related conversation integrations with Microsoft Teams, Zoom, and now mobile and so on. So, a safe harbor notice for some of the forward-looking statements or roadmap items that we may be discussing in this session. Please do not make your purchasing decisions based on any of the roadmap items that we make in this call today. So Employee Center Academy is a series of events that we do every month on third Wednesdays. And we pick up a product capability or a feature, and we do a little deep dive for that particular capability. We make you understand what is the business value that you could leverage by implementing this particular functionality for your organizations. What are the licensing and family requirements? What all plugins you would need? And how you could actually deploy and configure it within your own instances. So it's a full scale that we have done so far. We have covered a whole lot of topics. We have covered notifications. We have covered experience and service feedback, microsites, and then some of the process-oriented topics as well. For example, how to improve OCM within your organization, or how to improve governance within your organization. So if you want to revisit any of those topics, you could see the links on your screen, and you could see all the topics that we have covered so far. Some housekeeping rules. So we are recording this session, and we will be sharing the session recording and slides on community and YouTube after the event. The SLA is typically 7 to 10 days, after which we post all these recordings and slides on community. Um, we will try to kind of save some time towards the end for Q&A, but please keep your question and answers coming. We have a complete a panel here on call who are supporting us with the Q&A. So as we are going through the session, please do post your questions on the Q&A panel. And if you have any comments related to anything that we are presenting, you could use the chat panel to put in your thoughts or comments. After the event, you'll be prompted for a survey. This survey helps us improve future events for you. So please do provide your valuable feedback there. So to introduce today's topic, today we'll be talking about appointments booking functionality that was recently launched with our January 2025 release. It's an Employee Center Pro capability, so you would need an Employee Center Pro license to deploy this functionality. And today, in terms of experts, we have Sid Pandey from the product side, the product owner for this particular functionality. From engineering, we have Rohit and Harsh on the call answering the question and answers for today's session. In terms of agenda, we have a whole lot of topics to cover. We'll be going over um, the overview of appointments booking functionality. Then we have live demos from employee perspective, and how to configure it for the admins. And then we are going to share some additional resources related to this topic. So do stay tuned. Now, let's just start this session with understanding why exactly do we need appointment booking. And I want to kind of kick us off by understanding the three key personas that our organizations typically cater to, or our employee portals typically cater to. First, we have the desk employees, or normal full-time workers who are working within our organizations, who have a dedicated workstation. And the other second type of persona is deskless employees. They could be, if you consider manufacturing or retail, they could be workers who are working on the manufacturing shop floors or on the retail stores or on the healthcare front. People who are always on the move and they do not have a dedicated workstation, right? So they could be using some sort of shared devices like Kiosk to get their queries addressed. Then we have the third persona related to our employee portals, the HR agents or the HR representatives. Now, when we talk about these struggles for all of these personas, for the deskless employees, like people on the retail stores or on field, they often rely on making phone calls to get their HR queries resolved. So phone call is the primary channel for them to get any help from their HR. That essentially means they have to step away from their core task or whatever it is they are working on, or they have to kind of take some time out of their precious break time and just wait in line or reach out to some HR agent over call and get support, right? Often this support is not available right away, and that ultimately means a lot of wait time for the deskless workforce, and it increases the frustration levels. For desk-based employees, the experience is not very far better from what we have seen with deskless workforce. So they often resort to sending emails to seek support from their HR agents or even submitting a generic HR case. And this leads to a lot of back and forth communication and delays and frustration, when all they want is just a human connection to get their queries resolved, right? When we move to the other side of the table, so for HR representatives, the set of challenges are altogether different. So they are stretched thin, they have limited bandwidth available to resolve all these ad hoc queries, and it's difficult to kind of account into all the ad hoc, all the number of hours that goes into resolving all these ad hoc queries. So there's no way for them to report it to the leadership up top that um, how many queries did they address during that particular time, or where is their crucial hours, working hours going into. So it kind of degrades the strategic planning for that organization and the overall productivity for the employees as well. When we talk about appointment booking system, we are essentially looking for a system that could provide you a dedicated access to your HR agents. So you should be able to go ahead and schedule some dedicated time with them. And essentially, you're looking for some one-on-one human connection. There are just so many things that could be resolved through self-service or articles or a catalog request. At the end of the day, some queries might require you to kind of reach out to your HR agent. So you need some space to kind of be able to reach out to your HR agents. And ultimately, HR agents should also be able to account all those hours that they are spending in resolving all those ad hoc queries. So, before I talk about the appointment booking experience, or before I introduce the appointment booking experience, I want to put up here something called walk-up experience. Now, some of you may have already heard about ITSM's walk-up experience. Some of you might have already deployed it within their organizations, and some of you might not have heard it at all. So, when we talk about walk-up experience, there could be multiple use cases that the walk-up kiosk could be set up for. But we are just talking about the technology or IT tech lounge or IT walk-up experience, right? This is the most common use case for which organizations implement walk-up experiences. So think of a dedicated space. So Walk-up Tech Lounge could be a dedicated space where any of your employees could come in person and get their IT needs or issues resolved. It could be something related to VPN, some issue with their laptop, something that they need with respect to hardware on their systems or anything. So it could be I just walk in directly to that tech lounge. I wait in the queues that are there. I meet an agent or a technician who could help me with my query and resolve my IT needs, and I'll be done. So this is what essentially we mean by walk-up experience. And currently, it is available for ITSM customers with ITSM licenses. So this was to introduce the concept of walk-up experiences. Now, walk-up experiences have been configured in two different flows. The first is the queue check-in. So I want to physically meet my tech support. I join the queue. I get a token number. And then when it's my turn to meet my IT agent, I get my query resolved. This is the flow for queue check-in, or what we essentially call walk-up experience. Now, the second part of it is probably I don't have time right now to wait in the queue, and I want to get this query resolved sometime in future, let's say next week or 10 days later, when I have some more time to wait up in the queue. I have a different experience called appointment booking. So I can schedule some time for my IT agents, and I can schedule that conversation, right? So this is just a very short flow that we have covered for walk-up experience. We are not going to talk about walk-up experience in details in this session. We can share additional resources in the chat if you're looking to kind of understand this particular concept in depth. But here's where I'm going to deroute to this particular session, appointment booking. So when we talk about appointment booking, this is an experience that we've essentially built on top of ITSM's walk-up experience. So before our January 2025 release, um, only walk-up experience was available for ITSM customers. Now, after January 2025 release, we have kind of enhanced this walk-up experience, added more functionalities to it. So for example, you could configure the reason for which you want to meet the agents, and you could select the category for which you want to meet the agents. So all of those enhancements are there, and we are kind of we have pivoted it to the HR use cases as well. Now we understand HRs do not typically have a walk-up like scenario where you could kind of just walk in and talk to your HR agents, but you could always go ahead and schedule an appointment with your HR agents, right? So we have extended all the existing capabilities of walk-up to the HR use cases as well. So this is what we have delivered so far. And for the rest of this session, the focus is going to be on appointment booking scenarios with HR. Awesome. Before I dive deeper, Sid, is there anything you want to call out or address from the Q&A?
Yes, Smriti, we've had one QA for John asking about when it comes to booking, does this integrate with Outlook calendars? As of today, this is something we don't do. The appointments, the agent schedules are maintained in ServiceNow, but this is a roadmap item. So safe harbor, John, and we will cover some of these items that are on the roadmap.
Thank you, Sid. All right. So let me talk about how these experiences are available to the end users on the Employee Center Pro portal. When I talk about the homepage of Employee Center Pro, we have a number of entry points available right on the homepage. For example, on the screenshots, you could see it's available under the quick links. On the bottom screenshot, if you see, it's available under the quick links as schedule appointment quick link. That should allow your end users to directly schedule an HR appointment. Then we also have these quick links available on the topic pages. So on the navigation, if you see under human resource quick links, you could see the schedule appointment available there. So these are the 2 points that the end user could leverage to go ahead and schedule the appointments. Also, on the My Active Items widget on the home page, where you see all your tasks and requests and surveys and everything. Now we have a activity called appointments, and this is essentially unified for walk-up and appointments. So we will talk about this unified experience piece a little later in the session. But essentially, what I want to call out is if you have already been using ITSM walk-up experience and now you want to extend this capability for your HR use cases as well, you don't have to worry about two distinct experiences because we have unified both these experiences. So now you don't, your end users don't have to run at one place for ITSM walk-up um, sessions and for other at other place for appointment booking. You have a unified view of that, a single place where you can see all your appointments and walk-ups. Now, once as an employee, I have gone ahead and clicked on that schedule appointment, I will see a form that will ask me a number of items that I need to answer to go ahead and schedule my appointment. Now, one thing I want to call out is all of these details are super flexible and super configurable. So, as per your organization, you can go ahead and configure all the appointment categories that you want to make this appointment booking feature available for, or you could add your reasons there. And you could decide for what a type of appointment should be available for what reasons. And we have given a calendar view for employees to go ahead and pick up a time slot and schedule their appointment. So first thing first, when I talk about the different appointments, we are trying to identify in this form what is the purpose for which the user needs to speak to an HR agent, right? So you could display a number of categories. For example, it could be onboarding or benefits or payroll or human resources. These categories are essentially the topics that you have already configured with your taxonomy. So if I am seeking some help on benefits, I should be able to pick the category as benefits. And then I will be able to see the reason for benefits. So within benefits also, I could have different reasons like I want to understand my existing beneficiaries, or I want to understand how I add my spouse onto the benefits, something like that. So you could go ahead and configure your reasons, and the end user would be able to select one of those reasons. Then they should be able to select the appointment type, whether it's a virtual appointment that they're looking for, or they want to meet the HR agent in person. Now, you have that flexibility to decide. So, for example, for some use cases or for some scenarios, it makes sense to have virtual only appointments, right? So you have that flexibility, you can configure that. And then you can configure the appointment schedule. So based on your agent availability, all of that is configurable. You can configure for how much time slots this particular reason should be catered to. For example, something like laptop repair might need 1 hour time slots versus something like benefits query with an HR agent. They might be able to resolve that within a half-hour duration. So you have that flexibility to configure your time slots. Then the last part of it is configuring how you want to communicate with your end users during the appointment. So whether they prefer to be communicated over text or emails, they should be able to select that and they can add their details. Just like Sid has already called out, we do not have the Outlook integration at the moment. So um, uh, the whole workflow works like the end user can go ahead and schedule their appointment, and HR agent can reach out to that person via Teams chat or meeting, and they can share all the meeting details and links via text or email, whatever is the preferred mode of communication. Right. You could have the consent added. So I agree to receive messages and updates around this appointment, the consent from the end user essentially. And finally, the end user would be able to add additional details around why they want to meet the HR agent, what is the exact challenge or problem that they are facing. Once they have scheduled this appointment, they can view it, all the appointments, all the previous appointments under a consolidated list called My Appointments. They should be able to view their upcoming appointments, all the previous appointments. They can view the details for that particular appointment. And they have a lot of actions that they can do, such as canceling an appointment or rescheduling an appointment. Or once an appointment has been concluded, they can go ahead and provide their feedback onto that appointment as well. Now let's talk about the experience on Kiosk. So I did start off by pointing the challenges that the deskless employees see with catching hold of the HR bandwidth, right? For this reason, they may be using a kiosk as the shared device where they are accessing their employee-related details and getting the self-service help that they actually need. And we have added the appointment booking functionality on Kiosk as well. So on the Kiosk homepage, on the homepage itself, we have an entry point under Get Support widget called Schedule Appointment, very similar to the EC Pro portal. And all their upcoming appointment, the next upcoming appointment will be visible on the homepage itself on the upcoming appointment widget. So they can go ahead, click on this button and see all the previous appointments similar to the EC Pro experience that we just talked about. This is how the deskless employees can go ahead and leverage the appointment booking scenario with the shared kiosk as well. Again, this is a pro functionality. You would need Employee Center Pro license for the kiosk. All right. Let me switch for the demo. Meanwhile, Sid, do we have anything that we need to address from the Q&A?
So I do see a few questions. I think we can respond to them while there. So please, Smriti, continue. I think we can respond to these.
All
And
right.
Rachel as well. So yes, we are doing a demo. So this will we will show how are these created both for the requester and then for the agent as well, that they show up in the workspace as an interaction.
Thank you, Sid. So on the Employee Center Pro portal, I am Maria and I'm starting my day by landing onto my Employee Center Pro portal. Right on the homepage under Help Center, if I go to Human Resources, before I navigate to any of the topic pages, I see a quick link called Schedule Appointment. So it might be that time of the year when we have just concluded our appraisals and I might have some payroll related query that I want to reach out my HR agent to, so I can go ahead and schedule um, the appointment. On the quick links on the homepage, also I see the schedule appointment. And on the My Active Items widget, I see the appointments and I have 2 upcoming appointments here. So I can see all of my upcoming appointments here. And on this screen as well, I can go ahead and schedule a new appointment. So let me just click here. Now, one thing that I want to reiterate is how I highlighted that we have a unified experience for both appointments booking and the walk-up experience. So this is the unified experience that I'm talking about. On the appointment type page, I can select whether I want to go ahead and schedule an appointment or I want to join a walk-up queue. So right now, I just want to schedule an appointment. I'll click continue. And here I see this configurable form that I have in place. So I can go ahead and select a category. I have a HR related query. So I select human resources and I have some issue in my payroll. So I will select that as the reason. I can select in-person or virtual appointment. So let me just go ahead and select the in-person appointment. And I can select any of the appointment locations that are available. Currently, it picks up my current location and um, shows the available walk-up locations on the basis of my current location. Then I can go ahead and open the calendar and pick up from any of the available time slots, right? So when we talk about the admin experience, we are going to talk about it in more depth. But basically, what I have here is configurable time slots. So right now for HR queries, I've configured it half an hour time slots. I can factor in local holidays. Here, I can factor in all my agent availability. I can factor in all their meals and tea breaks in between and add my time slots accordingly, right? So I will just go ahead and select one time slot, select it. I can see the time zone also available. And I can go ahead and select the preferred contact method. It could be email or it could be text. Now, what my organization has allowed me is to edit my details here. If I edit my details, I still have an option to kind of update my profile information with this contact detail. So I have corrected my email, mobile number here, and I'll just update my profile information. And I will consent to agree messages and updates around this. Now, I can add my details here. And schedule the appointment. So since I have already scheduled an appointment, I'm not able to do so right now. But I will just go ahead and showcase all the existing appointments that I have in place. So this is the appointment that I've already scheduled, right? On this page, I also have filters that I can use to see all my previous completed appointments as well. And I can go ahead and provide feedback on any of this. So for example, this on July 15th is the most recent one. I can go ahead and provide my feedback onto this. So this is available via the integrated experience and service feedback. I can go ahead and provide my feedback. The appointment was super awesome, and I can submit. All of these are configurable experiences via experience and service feedback. On my upcoming appointments, also, I have few actions that I can do. For example, I can update or cancel this appointment. So if I click on update, most of these details are non-editable. I can just go ahead and select a new appointment. That is what I can do. All right. So once I have configured this, let me move on to the admin experience, or sorry, the HR agent experience, and show how it is available to the HR agent. So I am Rob now, one of the HR agents within the organization, and I am on my HR workspaces that is available from this workspaces. I've clicked on HR agent workspace, and I have already marked myself as available. Now, I have a list where I can see all my HR appointments, and I can see what all active appointments there are. So for example, if I want to check what this appointment is about, this has been opened previously by Able, and I can go ahead, assign it to myself and update. And then I will see this is the Able's appointment, and this has been assigned to me. Now, let's say I have already interacted with Able. I have kind of reached out to him via Microsoft Teams, and I have resolved his query. Then I can go ahead and mark this as complete and update it. And then it will reflect as completed on Able's site. So I'm just showcasing it for Maria right now. So they will be able to see this completed status here. Sorry, anything to add here, sir?
No, I think covered it, Smriti. In terms of once an agent has works on, the agent is required to go ahead and change the state of that appointment, at which point it'll appear as completed. I do see a couple of questions. Yes, for the first question, can someone schedule more than one in-person appointments? Yes, so an employee can schedule multiple appointments. That's the first thing I'll say. They can schedule multiple appointments for different reasons or for the same reason as well. That is something that we support and on different dates. So that is definitely supported today. Rachel, for this time around, how does the agent know how the schedule times are? As we'll get into the admin setup, you will see how this uses is an agent assignment rule. So depending on whether how agents are assigned or based on a particular skill, you can route it to the agent. So it'll sit in the queue, and it's only when it's time of the appointment, it'll get assigned to a particular agent at that time. So this is not something we don't want to show the agent information up front. So for the employee, it's more like, yes, I have an appointment coming up. And once it's time for the appointment, an agent gets assigned. And presently, the agent is responsible for sending out that virtual meeting link. So currently, there is a bit of manual process that we have in this workflow, where once assigned to the agent sends out that virtual meeting link to the employee. Uh, okay, so I do see a couple of questions coming up. We will look at, from a page perspective, we will look at the design from a responsive perspective. We can definitely follow up with you. Can you demo canceling an appointment? Smriti, that's something that if you can just look to create one and cancel it. Today, what an employee can do are two actions. They can either reschedule or cancel it. Both of those are supported as well.
So just
For an
to,
in Go ahead.
just to cancel this appointment, I have a few appointments here that I see upcoming, and I can go ahead and cancel this one. It's just simple, yes, cancel this appointment, and then the appointment has been cancelled, and it's still visible to me in my cancelled status.
Uh, for David, few questions coming around interaction record. Yes, it is an interaction record which will only be available to the set of agents that are assigned to that location. So only they will have visibility into it. Also to your other question that do we have a workflow that where along with the appointment we create a case? Not at the moment. That's something on our roadmap that we have today. In terms of scheduling, we'll get into it. So you do have flexibility to assign a set of agents for a particular location. And that way you can maintain your location queues where, let's say, payroll in Santa Clara is managed by a different set of people who have a different schedule versus payroll in Amsterdam is managed by a different set of agents whose availability is different. And the last one I see is around licensing of this. You do not require ITSM standard. So I know walk-up is something that's included in ITSM standard. Starting Yokohama, if you are a HR Pro customer and have EC Pro, which is included, you are licensed to this. Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, I think, Shruti, you can continue. I can respond to these in chat.
All right. So moving on, just to reiterate my point here, we have unified this experience for ITSM Walkup and HR. So if you're an existing customer who has been using ITSM Walkup, you don't have to worry about very distinct experiences. How we are unifying it is we have a common quick link available called as schedule appointment. And once you click on it, the user would be navigated to this appointment type page where they can select if they want to go ahead and schedule an appointment or a walk-up queue, right? And also, both of these appointments are visible as a common activity under My Active Items as appointments. So if you are a customer who is a HRSD only customer and you have not kind of implemented walk-up queue, you can go ahead and skip this appointment type page using the page route map. So we'll cover that as part of configurations later on. So, talking about the different scenarios, some of it Sid has already covered, but just to briefly go over all the different scenarios, if you're an ITSM only customer who's still on Service Portal, you could continue using your ITSM walkup experience. If you're an ITSM only customer who's using Employee Center Pro, um, same goes. You can continue using your ITSM walkup experience. There's no change for you there. If you're an ITSM and HR customer, but you have two different portals. So, for example, ITSM could be on Service Portal and HR on EC Pro, or ITSM on EC and HR on EC Pro. You can continue using this experience, and you will see this unified experience, and you'll need to just go ahead and opt into appointment booking functionality. And most of these configurations remain same. On the end user perspective, we have already provided the unified experience. So it's just opt-in that you need to do. For ITSM and HR customers who are using a unified portal, they will need to go ahead and opt in and also tag some of these workup locations with a topic. So we'll cover all of that in configurations. Now, coming on to the admin experience. Before you even start configuring your experience, or before you even start doing configuration things on your instance, what we advise is strategizing how you want your appointment booking experience to appear on the portal. What we mean by strategize is asking these three basic questions: what the appointment is going to be about, who will address this query, and how should the employee be reached. When we say what the appointment is about, it is essentially identifying the key topics for which you are going to make the appointment booking capability available. What are the main reasons for which you want to enable or allow your employees to reach to your HR agents, right? Should these appointments be in person, or it could be done virtually, or what is the time frame that you should decide for a typical scenario? For example, time required to address a benefits query might be different than time required to address immigration related issue, just for an example. And who will address this query? So essentially, you need to identify all the HR agents um, uh, uh, that will be supporting the appointment booking effort, what all locations you want to enable this experience onto this, and you need to go ahead and map all the HR agents to those respective locations, ensure their availability, um, and plan your overlaps and agent availability and vacations and time offs accordingly, right? Again, determine the time duration that is required to book that appointment for that particular reason or for that particular location, and make those slight, small changes for each of the walk-up locations or for each of the reasons. Then the third piece of it is how your employees should be reached in case of appointments. Do you want to pull in information from the user profile automatically, or do you want to allow your end users to make those changes or preferences? Do you require your user consent to be shown while they are booking appointment, and so on? When I talk about the exact steps, I have two scenarios in place. One is you are an ITSM and HR customer and you are using a unified portal and you have walk-up experience already deployed, or you have already been um, providing walk-up experience on your instances. Now, these are the steps that you need to take care of. First, you can go ahead and configure your walk-up location. So you might already have your walk-up locations, but now you want to go ahead and configure it for appointment booking. So all the different parameters that are required for appointment booking, such as tagging a topic to a particular walk-up location. Um, this is the required step. And we are going to talk about each of these steps in details in these slides as well as demo. So don't worry, just focus on the summary part of it, what all steps you need to undertake. Second is opt-in to appointment booking. So now if you're an existing ITSM customer, but you have not enabled Workup plugin or you have not downloaded the Workup plugin, in that scenario also, you don't need to opt in. You are auto-enabled for appointment booking scenario. Otherwise, if you have already been using ITSM Workup functionality, you will need to go ahead and opt into appointment booking. Third is you'll need to create your appointment reasons. Fourth is you would need to configure your appointment communication or the location consents, how you want your end users to provide their communication information such as phone, email, how you want your end users to be able to be contacted. The fifth part is configuring feedback for appointment booking. So at the end of the feedback, at the end of the appointment, do you want to allow your end users to be able to provide feedback or not? And what question do you want to ask while configuring that feedback functionality? The sixth point or the last point I have cancelled out because it is not required for this scenario. This is the page route map. So you would obviously need a consolidated appointment type page where you're asking your end users whether they want to schedule an appointment or they want to join a walk-up queue. So you don't need to configure page route for this. The second scenario is when you have not deployed walk-up experience so far. So in that case, you will need to configure your walk-up locations from scratch and then add all the relevant parameters for appointment booking as well. Second step, that is opt-in. It's not required for this scenario because you're auto-enabled on appointment booking functionality. Then all the rest of the steps remain same. You will have to go ahead and create appointment reason, configure appointment communication, feedback, and the last step is configuring page routing. So in that case, you don't need that appointment type intermediate page that asks whether you want to go ahead and schedule an appointment or walk up because you have not deployed the walk up experience. So on the page routing method, you can go ahead and skip that page entirely. So step one, configuring walk applications. This is the most crucial step of the entire process. That is, you configure all the different walk applications that you need to be addressed to. Or you want these locations to be serviceable. So you configure all the different walk-up locations, for example, Santa Clara, San Diego, London, India, whatever tech launch you want to make available. Add the details about the venues or the walk-up support venues in place. Then super important step for to enable this walk-up location to be available on appointment booking use case, you need to assign it to a topic. If you don't assign it to a topic, it won't be available for appointment booking scenario. It will only be available for walk-up queue scenarios. Then we have a lot of different parameters that you need to go ahead and configure within the walk-up locations. We are not going to talk about all the details of all these parameters. We have other resources in place that could help you in how to configure walk-up locations. But what we are essentially going to talk about is important parameters that are important to configure for appointment booking functionality. For example, appointment booking method, whether you want it to be virtual or in person, location consents, appointment type, or appointment reasons, and the assignment eligibility. So all of these parameters are important, and we're going to talk about it in the demo part of it. Quickly moving on to the second step, opt-in, we have already talked about it. It's required if you have already been using ITSM Walkup plugin. The third is appointment reasons. So what kind of reasons do you want to provide for a particular location? Again, all of it is configurable. You can ensure that you are making these reasons available for certain user criteria, or if you want to restrict it for certain other user criteria, you can do so. You can make configurations such as this particular reason is available for particular walk-up locations, but not for others. So you have all those configurations available. Then appointment communication. This is an optional step. So you can go ahead and create your location consents, how you want your end users to be reached out to, whether you want to allow them to add additional details or comments, whether you want to ask for consent or not, whether you want to allow them to update the profile or not. So all of these changes or configurations, you can do so from this table. This is optional. Why? Because if you're not going ahead and creating a location consent, by default, employee's registered email ID, whatever has been registered in their employee profile, that is considered or counted for creating an appointment. Then the last part of it is appointment feedback. Out of the box, we have already provided a feedback definition for employee center pro portal and kiosk. But if you want to go ahead and configure it or change the question or change any of the experience parameters, you can go ahead and do so. The last part is page routing map. Again, I've already talked about it. If you are only configuring it for appointment booking and not for walk-up, this step is optional. This step is optional for you. Yeah. So I will break for demo and hand it over to Sid for walking us through the admin experience.
Thanks, Smriti. Uh, so for all our audience over here, I'll just take that share. Okay, so when it comes to configuration, this is something that most people are thinking about. How do I go about? How long does it take to configure this appointments? There are a couple of considerations before you get into this. If you're already using ITSM walkup, right? So you've already got walkup configured with the reasons. You could have appointments as well, and that works out for you. When it comes to the HR side, right? What we've heard from customers is usually HR does not have a walk-up kind of experience. And by walk-up, I'm thinking about you could have a tech lounge or a tech bar where people can just walk up and get their issue answered. So at least in my conversations, I've not come across customers who said they have the same thing for HR where I could just walk in into some location. So ideally, what you're looking at is two kinds of appointments, right? Whether it is virtual or in person. And for something like this, I would start thinking about if you do have let's say only a workforce that is knowledge workers, or do you have a frontline workforce, meaning you're looking to cater to specific locations or physical locations around that. So first thing to really understand from a design is who are you looking to make this available to? All of your workforce or only certain sections of your workforce? That's an important consideration. One. The second part is what are some of the reasons, and we call them reasons, that's what it's used in config as well, of why they would book an appointment. You could be using a lot of HR services. That does not mean you have to have an appointment for each of them. So are there some very specific, services for which you would create an appointment book or have appointment booking available? So an example could be I have it for leave of absence, but I may not have it for, let's say, a benefits inquiry or vice versa. That is important. Now, getting into this, the first thing that you need to create is something that we call as a walk-up location queue. So this is something, if you search for walk-up locations, this module, walk-up experience will be available to you, appointment booking will be available to you. So the first thing you need to do is go to these walk-up locations. And here is where you will create a location that will really encompass all of the configuration that I just talked about, right? Like which location is it for? What are the reasons? What's the duration of my appointment? How many agents are assigned to it, and so on. Now, in this scenario, I'm just going to look at this, I'll just walk you through in the interest of time. So I'm going to show you one location that I've already created. It's called Santa Clara HR Help. While there are a lot of fields on this form, I will point out the ones that are really important for setting up an appointment booking. So the first one is location, right? Which location is it going to serve? You can create multiple of these queues for the same location, and I'll show you how and why that matters. Why this is important is sometimes we try to detect based on either the user's location, which they could enable from the browser or from their profile to serve them up, like, which should be the location queue that should be serving them up. Second thing you need is an appointment booking service configuration. So I'll get into this. This controls how long are the appointments going to be, which are my days for which these appointments can be made, what are the slots, etc. There is the other thing is interesting is around you do need to tag your locations to a particular topic. And this will be helpful both in the UI to the employee to select. So if you both have IT and HR, at least it helps the employee figure out with whom they are looking for an appointment. There is location consent. So this covers some information around giving the user the preference whether they would like to receive a text or all of the information communication should continue through email. So some of that information is here. Now, if you want to disable the walk-in part of it, so enable online check-in can be disabled. Under administration, we do have this option to choose what is the appointment type. So for this location, you have an option that you could say that all the reasons that will show up under this location will be just in person or remote or both. So that is something that you can configure. Moving down, the two other important bits are reasons for visit. So these are really important for you to configure. We do have user criteria available on them. So this gives you that flexibility where you may have a specific reason for a certain location or a certain workforce as well. Like maybe that is only available to managers versus not available to others. So on the reasons, you can really configure that. The other important bit is the assignment availability. So to think about this, think about it as how are agents going to be assigned, who are the group of agents assigned to it, and so on. So all of that is covered here from the assignment rule as well as the group of agents as well. So I'll just show that again. So this is the group covered. So this is a set of agents that will really be assigned for any interactions or appointments that created from here. And lastly, in the interest of time, for the appointment booking, so this is the appointment booking configuration that exists today. Here are some of the things that you configure, such as what is the duration of the window appointment, right? Whether it's 15 minutes, 30 minutes, you have that flexibility. What is the time through which these appointments can be booked by the employee? Now, again, this would go based on if you say there are two slots, like two agents serving it up, and there are two slots. If one is booked, it would automatically be deducted and would not show up to the end user. So in a nutshell, I quickly covered some of the basic that we have for appointment booking. Smriti, can we go back to the slide, please?
Sure.
So while Smriti is bringing up the slides, I think we've launched this, but we do have a poll open, Smriti, if you go back to the previous slide. From a roadmap perspective, so today, if you look at agent availability, right, how it is created is you can create it as a pooled availability, saying that, from 9 to 3, I'm going to have 3 agents serving it, and my appointment time is 30 minutes. But today, what we don't incorporate is individual agents availability, where someone could be available from 11 to 3, while the other one could just be available from 9 to 12. So that is something that we have to include in the scheduling. We have heard from customers that we may want to pull this from Microsoft Outlook as well, because that's where the availability is maintained. Today, the generation of, if it's a virtual appointment, the generation has to be done by the agent. So we are definitely looking at, from a productivity perspective, how could we generate this? From an omni-channel perspective, this is where we're looking to hear from you in terms of what would be helpful. We do not have this currently in virtual agent. If you're serving up a frontline workforce, would you want to provide this option available via text or mobile? And then also looking at when someone is booking an appointment, do you look to provide them some self-service resources so that you could deflect them right at that point itself? Also looking to understand if you're looking to extend, if you want to extend this appointment booking to other workflows beyond IT and HR that you're using as well. And definitely looking at how we can enhance the workflow as well as have more entry points, right? If someone is reading an article about a leave of absence, could we just have a link there that tells them that, if you have more questions, book an appointment with us. So that's all I had. We do have a poll. Smriti, I'll let you close this up.
Thank you, Sid. Hopefully this session was useful for you. If you would like to talk to the product team directly, or if you're interested in the upcoming office hours that we are planning shortly, please do register your nominations here. In terms of guidance, we have already covered this with Q&A, but you would need Yokohama Family Release, EC Pro, and HRSD Pro license, and you would need to have ITSM Walkup Experience plugin, the updated one. We have FAQs listed here. Since we'll be sharing this slide, I won't be covering this at the moment. If you're looking for other additional help uh, related to Employee Center, we have other office hours and roadmap webinars. The upcoming ones are Employee Communications Office hours on 7th of August and Deployment Office hours on 29 July. Thank you so much for staying us till the very end. We'll be back next month with another exciting session that's going to be browser extension for Employee Center. So please do join us again next time onwards. Thank you. Have a great rest of your day. Bye-bye.